Imaginative composition writing is just like any other work of art. You need to take time and create, then spend even more time polishing it. You shall not wake up one day and impress without having to practice. That is why ours is a routine. We provide you a platform to follow for 10 days and perfect your essay writing skills. In fact, we have a manual called the On Your Marks Workbooks containing essay writing routines that will inspire you to delve into essay writing while providing ample space for you to practice as much as you can. What are you still waiting for? Call 0724094472 and we shall deliver nationwide. Plus, subscribe to our YouTube channel to get free access to our lessons. Allow me today show you what the manual will do. You see, KCSE, that is the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, has come up with a curriculum that schools follow. KCSE informs us what to teach, when to teach it, and how. KCSE is concerned a lot about your classroom experiences. Once we are done with the classes, NEC takes over. But NEC is more interested in what you learned in those classes. In fact, they want to test what you learned, not what your experiences were. So there emerges a small gap, a tiny gap that is felt mostly by the teachers who are also NEC examiners. If you are a teacher and not an examiner, you might not even know that there is such a gap. It becomes apparent that where classroom experiences left you is not exactly the same spot where examination picks you. On Your Marks is interested in that small gap. We seal it by giving you perspectives of both the teacher and the examiner. For instance, why should you walk in an exam room where you are given a booklet, but if you fill it up, you are deducted some marks? At what point should you know that you need to use only 3 pages? And what are those pages like? Are they normal font? Are they specialized? On Your Marks invites you to train on a paper with a page equivalent to what you will find in a NEC exam. On Your Marks is a workbook combining what both the teacher and the examiner expects of you. You get to strike a balance between learning experiences and examinations. If the examiner wants items of merit in your composition in order for them to take you to A+, and your teacher has already taught you those merit items, why are you still stuck at B? We have come to the tail end of our routine and my work is simple today. To pull the A+ look just at a glance. We have been looking at aspects that you should consider while writing your essay. We looked at language ability, familiar background, credible characters, your storyline, how to enhance the storyline, the choice of your first and last paragraphs, and lastly, some of the styles that contribute to greater language ability. While we were looking at language ability, the take-home was that you needed many merit ticks to qualify as an A candidate. We looked at what is merited in essays and geared ourselves to dwell on that when we write. In the next lesson, after linguistic ability, we dwelt on familiar settings. Because of the limited space and time while writing your essay, you need to strike it off with the examiner first. We said you have to get to them. You have to create a familiarity between the two of you early enough so that they follow you easily and quickly. Strange setups will not excite at all. Next, we looked at characterization. We summed it up in 3 steps. Choose credible characters, define them appropriately, and then develop them wholly in your essay. When we ventured into the storyline, we said you must keep them simple, that is, following the lead character throughout. We also welcomed twists in the plot and advised that the twists should not complicate your essay. Twists should make your essay more captivating. If a twist does not work for you, we advised that you left it out. Then we looked at your first and last paragraphs and said they must stand out. Your first paragraph must be a promise of good things to come, while your last must resolve the conflict in your essay and even pass a moral lesson. The examiner should not have to look beyond your first paragraph to give you A+. That is if you write with the A+ mindset. Yesterday, we looked at style and saw that there are so many ways to say whatever there is to say. Communicating plainly will land you at lower B. We also said that language use and style are more or less one and the same thing. They carry the most weight while the decision on your final score is being made. Today, we have to learn how to pull the A+ look. The examiner must see you an A+ candidate even before they read your essay. Is that even possible? Of course, you need to work on your visuals in that essay. I don't mean just the legible handwriting, I mean the punctuation marks. Naturally, when we skim through a document, our eyes tend to catch uncommon punctuation marks. In an imaginative essay, we expect more full stops. So, a question mark will stand out and so will an exclamation. We will notice this because they are more conspicuous than a full stop. We catch proper nouns faster in a text because the capital letter stands out. We are also used to the use of a comma. So an ellipsis, a colon, semicolon, dash, and even a hyphen are uncommon. They are visible even before we scan your essay for meritable items. Let us skim our essay today for uncommon punctuation. We shall then read the sentences with the punctuation. I swear, if it is a grammatical sentence, it will have one or two meritable items. Let us begin with the first paragraph. There's just one question mark. It's clearly visible. What more could I ask for? That is a rhetorical question, even outside the essay context. It will obviously be merited. Then there's a dash. We were all newbies, but I was different. I understood that a cat that dreams of becoming a lion must first lose its appetite for rats. Newbies is good vocabulary. But I was different. That is good use of contrast. And look at that wise saying. This candidate is wise. Proverbs are a measure of wisdom. We learnt that in paper 2. So even before we read that paragraph, there is a young person who is enthusiastic at work. He or she has their best foot forward from the 2 lines we have just pulled out from the paragraph. Let us turn to the second paragraph. Cairo, the capital of Egypt. Our premier assignment together entailed recovering lost treasure in Cairo. Premier, entailed, and even treasure are good uses of vocabulary. I can also spot a semicolon. It had cost the research center an arm and a leg. That semicolon draws our attention to the idioms cost an arm and a leg to mean it is costly, and all eyes were on us to mean we were being scrutinized. We had better give it our best. Then in paragraph 3, there is an exclamation. Eureka! We have found it. It is a one-word sentence, a very beautiful sentence. There is also hyphenation in the word life-changing. We jetted back to claim a life-changing reward. Jetted, claim, life-changing are all good uses of vocabulary. We have another question in the next paragraph. Had I told you she was a majestic nymphet? I love the direct address, the connection with the reader. This A+ candidate connects with the reader directly. Majestic nymphet is good use of vocabulary. It is therefore worth meriting. I can see thick in quotations too. To compliment her good looks, she had a chubby frame we adoringly dubbed thick. Compliment, chubby frame, adoringly, and dubbed are all good uses of vocabulary. They are all items of merit. In the second last paragraph, arrest him officers blah 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 stands out because it is in direct quotations. Was she nuts? That is an item worth meriting because not only is it rhetorical, but it has an idiomatic expression. Here, nuts means she has gone mad. Then in the last paragraph, the idiom month of Sundays stands out because of the proper noun Sunday. It means a very long time. Then the hyphenated compound word treasure hunter turned thief draws our attention to a wide range of vocabulary in that last paragraph. What do we learn from this? Good punctuation helps you display greater linguistic ability. And that is the way to pull an A+ look at a glance. So now, let's read our essay. If it were in a marking center, we would be reading it to enjoy your creativity. Your score already is decided. Write an essay ending, "All that glitters is not gold." The warm rays of the sun ushered in the day everything changed in my life. Everything seemed to be falling in place. I had been assigned to Ashley. She was a top dog researcher in the center. What more could I ask for? We were all newbies, but I was different. I understood that a cat that dreams of becoming a lion must first lose its appetite for rats. Our premier assignment together entailed recovering lost treasure in Cairo. We would break new ground if we accomplished this mission in time. It had cost the research center an arm and a leg. All eyes were on us. It took months of excavation and I almost gave up, but Ashley kept my fire burning. Just as I was about to throw in the towel, we made it. Eureka! We jetted back to claim a life-changing reward. Before our grand entry into the center, Ashley suggested we stopped by her place for a few drinks. Had I told you she was a majestic nymphet? I melted in her hazel eyes but focused on my budding career. Her long nose had a piercing on the left, and a golden stud that gleamed on it drew a great deal of attention to her cute facial features. I tried hard to only focus on my budding career. To complement her good looks, she had a chubby frame we adoringly dubbed thick. About that, I really struggled to remain focused on my budding career. I did not say no to the damsel. We pulled up in front of her apartment and went in all right, but the wailing of police sirens would not leave us in peace. Ashley was the first to step out. "Arrest him, officers! He had the stolen treasure all this while." Was she nuts? As I stood before the judge, I knew I would be sent away for months of Sundays. Ashley had made me look like a treasure hunter turned thief so that she could keep the lucrative reward all to herself. And so, to a standstill came my life. She had been a wolf in sheep's clothing all the time. All that glitters is not gold. The warm rays of the sun ushered in the day everything changed in my life. Because that sentence is clean and there's a good use of phrasal verb ushered in, tick at the margin. Everything seemed to be falling in place. Fall in place is good use of idiomatic expression. Tick in the margin at the end of that sentence. I had been assigned to Ashley. Assigned to, good use of vocabulary. Tick at the end of that sentence as well. She was a top dog researcher in the center. Top dog researcher, good expression, tick at the margin. What more could I ask for? Good use of rhetorical question, tick at the margin. We were all newbies. but I was different. I understood that a cat that dreams of becoming a lion must first lose its appetite for rats. Tick at the end of that paragraph. A good, captivating paragraph. Our premier assignment together entailed recovering lost treasure in Cairo. Tick at the margin because of entailed, recovering, and treasure, and even premier. We would break new ground if we accomplished this mission in time. Break new ground, good use of idiomatic expression. Accomplished, good use of vocabulary. Tick at the end of that sentence. It is clean. It had cost the research center an arm and a leg. All eyes were on us. Tick at the end of the sentence as well. Cost the research an arm and a leg. Eyes on us are both idiomatic expressions. It took months of excavation and I almost gave up, but Ashley kept my fire burning. Months of excavation, good expression. Ashley kept my fire burning, good use of idiomatic expression, but we shall put the tick at the margin to appreciate the whole sentence. Just as I was about to throw in the towel, good use of idiomatic expression, we made it. Make it, good use of idiomatic expression as well. And so, tick at the end of that sentence. Eureka! Tick at the end of that sentence in the margin. Remember, we are placing our ticks at the margin at the end of those sentences. We jetted back to claim a life-changing reward. Tick, jetted back, claim, life-changing, good use of vocabulary. Before our grand entry into the center, Ashley suggested we stopped by her place for a few drinks. Grand entry, stopped by, good expressions, tick at the margin at the end of that long sentence. Had I told you she was a majestic nymphet? Tick at the end of that sentence, good use of a rhetorical question. I melted in her hazel eyes, but focused on my budding career. Good use of vivid description. Tick, hazel eyes. Tick, budding career. Focused on, good expressions. Tick at the end of that sentence. Her long nose had a piercing on the left, and a golden stud that gleamed on it drew a great deal of attention to her cute facial features. A very clean sentence with vivid description. Tick. So we have good expressions like a piercing, a golden stud, gleamed, drew a great deal of, cute facial features. All those are good expressions. Tick at the end of that sentence in the margin. I tried hard to only focus on my budding career. Tick, budding career the second time because good use of repetition for emphasis. I tried hard equally should be appreciated, but we shall appreciate the whole sentence in the margin. To complement her good looks, she had a chubby frame we adoringly dubbed thick. Compliment, good use of vocabulary. Chubby frame, good use of vocabulary. Adoringly, equally good use of vocabulary. And even dubbed. That whole sentence is good. Sounds nice. Tick at the margin. About that, I really struggled to remain focused on my budding career. Budding career has been repeated the third time to emphasize, to create emphasis. Tick. Another clean sentence. It is this sentence that introduces a line of weakness in the narrator. So tick at the margin for that style. I did not say no to the damsel. Tick the damsel. At the end of that margin, at the end of that paragraph. We can appreciate the whole paragraph. Tick. We pulled up in front of her apartment and went in all right, but the wailing of police sirens would not leave us in peace. Tick at the end of that sentence. Pulled up, good use of phrasal verb. And went in all right, that is good use of parentheses, but the wailing of police sirens, good use of personification on that. Then leave us in peace, that is good use of idiomatic expression. We'll appreciate the whole sentence in the margin. Ashley was the first to step out. Arrest him, officers. He had the stolen treasure all this while. Tick at the end of that sentence, good use of quotations. Was she nuts? Good use of rhetorical questions. As I stood before the judge, I knew I would be sent away for months of Sundays. Tick at the end of that sentence. Stand before a judge, good use of vocabulary, that expression. To stand before a judge, good use of register. I knew I would be sent away, good register. Sent away, phrasal verb. For months of Sundays, idiomatic expression. Tick at the end of that sentence. Ashley made me look like a treasure hunter turned thief so that she could keep the lucrative reward all to herself. So many items of merit in that one sentence. Made me look like, good use of a simile. Treasure hunter, good use of vocabulary. Treasure hunter turned thief, good use of the dash, so that she could keep the lucrative reward. Lucrative reward, good use of register. All to herself. Also a good expression. And so to a standstill came my life. Standstill is good vocabulary. Then there's inversion in that sentence, so tick at the end of the sentence in the margin. She had been a wolf in sheep's clothing, good use of idiomatic expression. Wolf in sheep's clothing. Tick at the end of that sentence. All that glitters is not gold. Asterisk, to mean that we have seen the ending that was given. Finally, we have come to the end of this routine, and I am glad you have found us insightful and inspirational. You will not regret using our workbooks for essay writing. We genuinely want to improve your performance in English, and so do not hesitate to send us your views, samples, criticism, and even appreciation. We are on your marks on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Subscribe and follow us for more content. Find hilarious content on our WhatsApp channel, English 101. The best thing about this routine is that it will be available always. Just decide when to start, and for 2 weeks, spend 40 minutes a day working on your imaginative essay writing. Remember, the A+ mindset is for those who would love to perfect their essay writing skills through practice. So go ye and blow the minds of those NEC examiners. Apart from the imaginative essay routine, we have more exciting workbooks. There are essay writing routines for both the Samaritan and Fathers of Nations. Then there is a contextualized functional writing workbook. All our workbooks are meticulously researched to give you exactly what you desire. We had you in mind when we innovated around the subject. So get a copy and start learning English the honest way. I have been your host teacher, Simiu LV, a passionate teacher of English and literature.